Hello and welcome to WWJPS. This is your host, Vanessa Pinto. If you are new here, welcome. We discuss America, the system behind it, the shadow government, all sorts of things that pique my curiosity. For those of you who have been here before, welcome back. Well, today, folks, we've got an interesting day. Since my last episode, there were a few questions about Marina Abramović. So I would suggest, one, please like, comment, and subscribe. Subscribe is the best. It helps. It's free. And it's really, really good for the channel. Beyond that, I would say grab something to eat or drink because we are going to be here for a minute. And it is interesting to say the least.
June 1952, Pasadena, California. 37-year-old rocket scientist Jack Parsons mixes a highly explosive cocktail of chemicals in his garage. The upscale street is calm and streaked in summer sunlight. Only the sounds of camphor leaves break the silence as Jack methodically adds more chemicals to a mixture in a coffee can. Then, he drops it.
A mansion in Pasadena, California. What we didn't get to talk about is the fact that Jack Parsons actually came from a very, very wealthy family. And inside, he was performing a sex ritual, chanting invocations, trying in his own words, in letters that still exist, to summon a spirit and change the course of history. Taking notes for him is a young science fiction writer named L. Ron Hubbard. Sound familiar? Oh yeah, that one. And the man doing the ritual, the man that blew himself up, well, that is Jack Parsons, and he is one of the fathers of American rocketry, a co-founder of the Jet Propulsion Laboratory, JPL, you know, where all those scientists have gone missing from. The lab that put America into space.
His mansions shake a mile away. Jack writhes on the floor, bleeding out. Part of his face is missing. Both of his legs are broken. His left arm is too, and his right arm is blown off. A policeman arrives and finds Jack charred and stuck underneath rubble. He leans in and hears Jack's last words. "I wasn't done." He's rushed to a hospital where he dies later that day.
Did you know one of the men who built NASA was also running a sex magic cult out of his mansion? Jack Parsons invented the solid rocket fuel that made space travel possible. He helped found the lab that became JPL. The government trusted him with classified weapons research. He also performed rituals in his backyard to summon.
So I'm just going to pop in here for a second, because what this tells us beyond anything else is that the government knew that this person was into occult worship, that he had these strange rituals that he performed, and he had top secret clearance. Just gonna lay that out there.
A goddess. His housemates included L. Ron Hubbard. In 1952, he died in an explosion at his home lab. The FBI investigated and quietly closed the case. His name was scrubbed from most of the history books. Did you know one of the men who built NASA?
Now, you might wonder how I came up with this topic. Well, actually, it was because of all the questions about Marina Abramović from my last video. And I realized I'd kind of never gone down that road. So, I researched her, and I realized that the whole Podesta thing, the emails, the spirit cooking was kind of read out of Crowley, Parsons, and Hubbard, because everything that she did were things that I had read about from Aleister Crowley, from the Jack Parsons thing. So I got actually quite interested, not in her, but in the fact that once again, we're finding out that, like I said, the Epstein files were just for us to figure it out. He wasn't special in any capacity. All of this has been going on forever. But I find it interesting that it's the same ritual. All of them include blood. All of them include some sort of weird semen or whatever, usually some sort of bathroom particle that comes out of a person. And the incantations, the way that it's used, it's all the same. And that stems from Aleister Crowley, which is old as time itself. Let's dig a little deeper into that sex magic. And now let's talk a little bit about the wickedest man in the world, Aleister Crowley. Aleister Crowley, born 1875, England, wealthy, strict religious family, oddly enough. Crowley founded a religious philosophy called Thelema, and the whole law fits into one line. Do what thou wilt shall be the whole of the law. And boy, did he mean it. Crowley wrote openly, published under his own name. I actually bought one of his books about what he called sex, magic, sexual ritual as a spiritual practice. He led an occult order, the OTO, that ritualized it. He ran a commune at a farmhouse in Sicily in the 1920s he called the Abbey of Thelema. He crowned himself wartime intelligence work, although historians still argue over how much was real. Chess masters, mountaineers, heiresses funding his projects. When he died in 1947, broke and in a boarding house, the obituaries treated him like a scandal.
Aleister Crowley, a controversial figure and symbol of rebellion, was more than just a magician. He was the founder of Thelema, which considers do what thou wilt as a fundamental law of life. Additionally, Crowley was an author, philosopher, and poet, writing numerous books and articles on magic and philosophy. He was renowned for establishing esoteric organizations like Ordo Templi Orientis and the Astrum Argentum. He was famously dubbed the wickedest man in the world in his time. Crowley left a significant impact on art and popular culture, continuing to influence over decades as a symbol of Satanism and rebellion. Have you heard of Aleister Crowley before? Share your thoughts in the comments.
If one didn't know better, you would assume that that was, again, some sort of Illuminati eyes wide shut type of thing, which again goes back to my theory that all of this is as old as time. We're just now being brought up to speed and being told truthfully that yes, all of this exists. So again, I always go looking and I was like, well, wait a minute. So they still practice the teachings from Aleister Crowley because he was also trying to summon a demon, which is what they're always trying to do in their ritualistic murder of children and God only knows what else.
In the world of modern devil worshipping, we have to go back to the European Middle Ages. In the first half of the 15th century, one of the most powerful and wealthy noblemen in medieval France was a lord called Gilles de Rais. He was one of the highest-ranking military officers in France, holding the title Marshal of France, which he earned because of his extraordinary military career in the Royal Army, including campaigns where he fought alongside Joan of Arc. Gilles de Rais was also one of the richest noblemen in France. It was said that he lived a more lavish lifestyle than the king himself, squandering his wealth on luxurious estates, a large train of servants, and some of the most extravagant parties, which he threw for his wealthy friends. However, Gilles de Rais also had a much darker side. Around 1432-33, a string of child disappearances, mostly.
Sound familiar? He had parties for all of his friends that people would come to. Like I said, these people, really what they do is they create a space to lure people into their most dark and depraved parts of their mind, and also to become Satanists and whatever these people think that they glom from that, right? But
the states were located. Although de Rais was a powerful lord and most ordinary folk feared their leaders, rumors started spreading that most of these kids would go missing in and around de Rais' estates. They were often last seen begging near the entrance to de Rais' chateau, and according to witnesses, a cadre of de Rais' closest associates would snatch some of the children. And it turned out that the rumors were true. Years later, de Rais was arrested alongside several of his accomplices.
Again, just like the guy in Belgium who did the exact same thing, he was torturing, taking kids, but also selling them to people in government. That's their job. These people present the children to the elite in order for them to do whatever. And they choose whichever ones for whatever category they fit in. But again, this goes back as old as time. And again, we're being openly told that this is what these fucking weirdos do.
It emerged that alongside being a military veteran and a debaucherous lord, he was also a psychopathic pedophile who in the course of a few years kidnapped or ordered kidnapping more than 100 kids, all of whom were raped, tortured, and killed in the most disturbing ways imaginable. I mean, what he...
I think from Pizzagate to Epstein, I think we all know that this is the drill. There's nothing new about this. While it is disturbing and disgusting, and none of us understand it, this is just what they do. They follow a pattern. So now that we know that someone that was in charge at NASA who had clearance was someone who followed Aleister Crowley, and he openly did this. Our government knew about this. They absolutely knew about it. And it's documented. You can just look this up. JPL's own institutional memory, his own letters. Parsons held security clearances. And if you think that door closed when Parsons blew up his lab, oh no, 30 years later, it walks back in wearing a uniform. Now let's talk about Michael Aquino.
Now here's what distinguishes this from every other child abuse case in 1987. The man the 3-year-old identified wasn't a teacher or a janitor. He wasn't some civilian contractor with a questionable background check. He was a lieutenant colonel in the United States Army assigned to military intelligence, specializing in psychological warfare. He held...
Bingo, bango. Look at that. I do not want to spend a whole lot of time on him because honestly, Michael Aquino gives me the skeevies more than any of them. I don't know why. Maybe it's the mustache. So he was a lieutenant colonel in the United States Army, not infantry, as we're about to hear. This was all psychological operations. Think MK Ultra. Think everything that they do with mind control, right? What they did with those kids, what those children tell us were done to them in regards to some of them still have no memory of any of this. And so once again, we have someone in the military with a high security clearance who openly was a Satanist and also got investigated for pedophilia and doing things to children. Again, why is it? And like I said, part of what disturbed me is that Epstein is one thing, but why aren't we still talking about all of this? Why was this guy never in jail? I wonder.
So who was Michael Aquino before any of this happened? Well, on paper, the guy was impressive. Born October 16th, 1946 in San Francisco. Eagle Scout, graduated from UC Santa Barbara in 1968 with a degree in political science as an ROTC Distinguished Military Graduate. That's a designation that gets you a regular Army commission, not Reserve or National Guard, but regular Army. It's the fast track. He goes to Vietnam, but he's not carrying a rifle in the jungle. He's in psychological operations. PSYOP, that's the branch of the military intelligence that deals with influencing enemy populations through propaganda, disinformation, manipulation of information. The goal isn't to kill the enemy, it's to make the enemy want to stop fighting.
So the whole our country is run by satanic pedophiles takes more and more weight for me, finding out how many people openly, because again, this was openly, granted, they're not open about it anymore, and part of it is Michael Aquino that left a bad taste in people's mouth. Well, you know, when children at a daycare come up with gonorrhea and they say they've been at your house, you know, I would think that that's troubling to a lot of people.
Convince entire populations that resistance is futile. Aquino's good at it, climbs the ranks. Comes back to the States, earns a master's degree, then a full PhD in political science from UC Santa Barbara in 1980. He gets assigned to the Presidio of San Francisco as an active guard reserve officer. He's working at the headquarters of the 7th Psychological Operations Group. In 1980, his commanding officer asked Aquino to draft a paper. Wants fresh ideas about where PSYOP doctrine should go after Vietnam. The old playbook, leaflets, loudspeakers, isn't cutting it anymore. Aquino writes the paper, his supervisor reviews it, makes annotations, they go back and forth. The final product gets distributed to the Pentagon offices, intelligence agencies, and military commands. The paper is called From PSYOP to Mind War, The Psychology of Victory. The word in that title, Mind War, Aquino coined the term himself. He admitted later that he got the idea after watching Star Wars in '77 and thought the name sounded...
No, I think it's a bit more than that. We won't have time to get into it, but this guy, he was also he was into Anton LaVey. He wanted to be a Satanist and very, very serious about it. And so him and LaVey actually disagreed because he felt that LaVey was too much of a showman. And mind you, he says that while this guy's on the news for a bunch of kids in daycare saying that they got venereal diseases from him, they've been in his home. Now, granted, somehow Aquino was able to spin the tale, and again, mind wars, a psychological ops specialist. He was able to convince these people that one, he was never there. And that two, the therapist had implanted these memories and got away with it. But it's the same accusation. The kids say the same. As sad as it is, the story's always the same. They made me do things they did things to me. They made me do things to other children. They filmed me. They videoed me. They scared me. They tortured me. They threatened me. All of those things. All of those things. Notice satanic panic, same thing. The kids in the finders, same thing. Why is it that we just tend to disbelieve all of these children in different generational gaps? And what on earth they would have to gain by making this shit up? Because when you're that small, you don't know about things like this. You absolutely do not. And the internet, yes, but this was way before the internet, folks. So again, they not only knew it, they covered it up. I'm sure they had a hand in making sure this guy didn't go to jail. So now we've got Aquino, right, with the pedophilia and the fact that there were accusations made. And with Parsons, it was just more sex magic ritual, blew himself up, but yet he had top secret clearance, did JPL, they needed him, and so they really have no issue with these things, right? Even if it means sacrificing some kids, right? Because again, they can still keep it away from the public and deny it in some capacity. But then you have to think, well, now we have to find a different way to hide it. Now, let's go back to October 2016. The WikiLeaks published the hacked emails of John Podesta. Hillary Clinton, I'm going to give a trigger warning here because the things I'm about to show for the rest of this video are deeply disturbing. They are deeply disturbing. So trigger warning on that. The artist Marina Abramović writes to Tony Podesta, John's brother, mega lobbyist and one of Washington's most serious contemporary art collectors, saying roughly, "So looking forward to the spirit cooking dinner at my place. Will your brother be joining?" Tony forwarded it to John. The email exists and anyone can read it. Spirit cooking. Let's find out a little bit about this.
Those emailing him used in many of their conversations. There was also an email that alerted Podesta that there would be young children delivered to a party he was having. One of the most damning things discovered in the Podesta emails leaked by WikiLeaks was the constant appearance of different code words that Podesta and those emailing him used in many of their conversations. There was also an email that alerted Podesta that there would be young children delivered to a party he was having and that they would be in the pool.
Because I know for me personally, what I always love knowing is that when I'm going to go to a party, there's a bunch of kids in a pool that are going to be loud and irritate me while I'm trying to get a buzz on, right? I mean, a little odd. Find it a little odd.
The video on, if you want to check that out, led many investigative journalists to look more closely into John Podesta, and what we found was alarming. It would turn out that John Podesta also had a habit of collecting art featuring children, sometimes in very violent situations. Something that must run in the family because we widened the investigation to include his brother Tony Podesta, who has since stepped down from the Podesta group amid a...
Brothers, right? Brothers. These fucking disgusting pieces of trash, God only knows the type of stories they swap between themselves. But think of this. So now, and I'm sure some of you have seen the art. We're going to go to the art because the art, it is truly disturbing. Again, trigger warning. Now, granted, these guys didn't really hide it, right? So the brother, Tony, did an article on this guy after people went to his home. And this is what was in the magazine article.
His interest in children is a Washington Post article from 2004 that describes Podesta's home as being decorated with photos of nude teenagers. That's right.
Yeah, I know I'd be really comfortable walking into a house of adults with nude teenagers on the wall in different poses. Yeah. How many people would stay in that house? Yeah.
Of nude teenagers. Now, after this article was discovered, all the photos were scrubbed from the internet and impossible to find. That is, until now. I have acquired the photos taken of the inside of Tony Podesta's home, and I'm going to share them with you now. However, they will have to be censored for obvious reasons. So, just by looking at these first few photos, you can see it's obvious why they didn't want these to.
This is the one. You literally have someone at your house taking or having an interview with you. This is the art you have in your house? I mean, and this is Tony Podesta, mind you, right? Look at this. This is so incredibly inappropriate.
And to be honest, it makes me uneasy.
Yeah.
That his so-called shocked guests mentioned in the article never reported him to authorities. I mean, not that it would really matter, I guess, because DC police seems to be the most corrupt police force in the country. Just ask Seth Rich's parents how that.
And now this is the portion that relates to Hillary Clinton and the whole Pizzagate scandal. Because realize part of why I did this one today is because I genuinely never went down that road, right? When that story broke, I was deep in the matrix. I was totally traumatized that Trump was running. I had no belief that he would win. I was still very much into voting, very much into the machine, very much into believing what they told me, right? So did I think that Hillary Clinton was trafficking children, doing weird things with kids and their blood, and that Barack Obama? Did I think for one moment, even if they would have said it about a Republican, quite frankly, I would have had a hard time believing that, mainly because it is just evil to its core.
Clinton's campaign manager, John Podesta, attends weird occult dinner parties where blood, semen and breast milk are used in ritualistic ceremonies. No, this isn't a fake news.
That is when I started going, wait a minute, this sounds exactly like Aleister Crowley. It was when I saw this video, which is how we got to the beginning. I don't just like randomly think this shit up. It's because I've done so much research that in my mind, I'm like, wait, this now fits here.
Do you think you will be able to let me know if your brother is joining? Tony Podesta then forwarded the email to John Podesta asking him, are you in NYC Thursday, July the 9th? Marina wants you to come to dinner. Here's Marina inviting Podesta directly. So what is spirit cooking? It's basically a Wiccan ceremony where blood is used to create some form of art as a sacrament to occult beliefs. This video shows Abramović mixing together thickly congealed blood as the recipe for the painting, which is comprised of the words, with a sharp knife cut deeply into the middle finger of your left hand.
Well, and again, this is completely out in the open, right? Because like I said, now seeing this, had I seen this in this mind frame, I would have absolutely known what this was, right? But for most people, they're looking at this and all they're seeing is some weird artist. And again, we are taught with art, even if it's disturbing and disgusting, oh, well, that's art. It can't possibly be real. It's just something in someone's mind. So, yeah, no, because again, they are still doing the same things as Aleister Crowley. They're just calling it art, and they've been doing it for a minute. Jack Parsons did it. Aquino did it. They're not the only ones. We're going to chat about all of them today. Well, the ones that I have found.
Cooking is also an occult practice used during sex cult rituals, as explained in the book Spirit Cooking with Essential Aphrodisiac Recipes. According to Maria Abramović, if the ritual is performed in an art gallery, it's merely art. But if the ritual is performed privately, as it was with the Podestas, then it represents an intimate spiritual ceremony. Here's Abramović posing with a goat's head dripping in blood, a representation of the occult symbol Baphomet, which is used by numerous secret societies like Freemasonry and the Knights Templar. Here she is at a spirit cooking event with Lady Gaga, eating something with a spoon that's smeared all over the body of a mock corpse. Here she is with a pentagram.
And again, it just looks like art. But this is none of this is new. So people saw spirit cooking, 2 words, and the internet detonated, right? And the digging didn't stop at that dinner. It went into his art collection, mainstream lifestyle profiles from the mid-2000s, written as edgy taste pieces, not exposés, describe the Podesto home hung with paintings of children in distressed, unsettling photographs. Unsettling poses and photographs of nude adolescents. Yeah, that's. But again, this truly was kind of the red herring, if you want to say. The ritual crime claims were never substantiated by anything anywhere. Taste is not a crime. Weird art is not evidence, right? So what we're looking at in 2016 is an elite social circle, sealed rooms, private dinners, private collections, transgressive aesthetics, doing the bonding work, art on the walls that make guests squirms, evening with the names that sound like rituals, the occult costume draped over what is dysfunctionally a network of access and favor. We're going to look some more at this art.
And with a sharp knife cut deep.
So people heard spirit cooking, and they dug into this, and that's what they found. And of course, it disturbed them because they didn't understand how someone like John Podesta or Hillary Clinton, and of course they're going to say, well, it's just art, darling, it's just art. There's that saying that the easiest way to hide something is hiding it out in the open. And all of this has been out in the open for a really, really long time, right? And before Marina and Abramović, there was Salvador Dali. Decades before spirit cooking, Dali was staging transgressive dinner theater for the rich. His 1941 Night in the Surrealist Forest Ball in Monterey put live animals and costumed guests around the table. And his cookbook, Les Dîners de Gala, reads like a grimoire with recipes, right? And in 1972, the Rothschilds threw their famous surrealist ball at their chateau outside Paris. Dali among the guests, the hostess in a stag's head with diamond tears, a dish served on mannequins' bodies. And they said that he actually created the invitation, and the way that it worked is when you got it, you actually had to put it in the mirror in order to read it. So they wanted to see if you could figure it out then. But again, you're going to see it's all the same, and this was in 1972. They love to show off by showing us their art. What does that remind you of? They're disturbing to look at because you can see the reality in them. Now, the art that's on Podesta's wall is done by an artist by the name of Kim Noble, who was so abused as a child, she fractured into multiple personalities. One of her personalities does paintings of the things that happened to her. And those are the paintings he hung on his wall.
Well, people have got to know.
Rhea Pratt is the personality that does these paintings.
Don't they? Just got to know. It's just these things happen. People don't believe they happen.
Are you painting from memories from your childhood?
Yes. These things happen. And children get hurt. And it makes me very sad. They're not happy.
Can you tell me about yourself? How old are you?
I'm 12.
And what are some of your first memories of your childhood?
Now, what disturbs me the most, and there's a lot that's disturbing, especially now knowing how those paintings came to be. Because when I first saw them, I thought it was done by some fucking pedophile. Now that I know this is how a survivor coped, it does help me understand why that artwork exists. It does not help me to understand why someone would put that shit on their wall. And I'm into some dark stuff too. I like Dali too, the broken dolls, the whatever, but this is, I mean, it's clearly showing sexual abuse to children. That is what it was there for. And this was on his walls. And what, we're just supposed to be like, whatever, it's just art. So, you know, the fact that these were on his wall. Yep. In his house. You know, I'd be really comfortable with this. I don't know why anyone would be uncomfortable. Oh, Jesus. And again, they're starting it in our faces because this is fucking blatant. Like the new teenagers on it, that is blatant. This is disturbing as all hell, and it shows. Oh my God. Oh God. Now you know I love to make a point. My point with Marina is she's kind of this excuse, right? Because she's in the Epstein files. We're going to go to that right now. She's there. We're going to look at this email first, though. It's a really interesting email. To John Brockman from Jeffrey Epstein, March 18th, 2014. Dinner lineup. Your Goyim dinner was amazing. Thank you very much for including me. Where are the Jews? I did my best with Katinka. I understand she is frightened. Kruger is no bullshit. Will help. He is not going to protect his ass. J.E. Here's where we are with the dinner. J.B. March 16th through 18th. Vancouver, Fairmont Waterfront Hotel. Then there's one at the Blue Water Cafe. Now, confirm to date for the TED program. Jeff Bezos, Sergey Brin, John Brockman, Katinka Matson, David Brooks, Jeffrey Epstein, Tony Faddle and Daniel Lambert, Silo Kamar, Yuli, whatever, I can't even pronounce, Lori Park, all the creme de la creme, all the oligarchs of our society. Dear John, thanks for letting me know. I'll get in touch with him as soon as I return later this week. I'm in Brittany right now, windsurfing and writing on the signatures of consciousness. I'm really getting excited about it. Again, bunch of elites going to dinner. John, it would be interesting, but would put me in conflict. Can't work with financial organizations. Let's see what other emails say. John W. Brockman. We're going to get into him in just for a minute. Let's see, what was this one? How do we book a car from Boston Airport to MIT? Can you help organize? Right? Isn't that interesting? MIT? I'm going to get to that. As I told you a few weeks ago, Hans Ulrich, and this is to John Brockman, we don't know who it's from. As I told you a few weeks ago, Hans Ulrich Obrist and I postponed the planned EDGE event scheduled for September, event due to Tony Faddle's injury. Tony is a prime instigator of this project and we wanted his involvement. Rather than a master class on art, we are doing a one-day and dinner in Palo Alto. And who do we have? Marina Abramović, confirmed. A pioneer performance. Yeah, we all know about her. Yeah. Now, John Brockman is a literary agent, and he was the most powerful one in science publishing. For decades, he ran the EDGE Foundation, an intellectual salon famous above all for one thing, an annual private gathering that came to be called the Billionaires' Dinner. Public reporting after 2019 identified Epstein's foundation as one of EDGE's biggest donors, reportedly its largest in some years. Let's take a look at that. Before I introduce you to Mr. Brockman, you'll know that he's clearly important if Prince Andrew needs to lie about him.
Another guest was John Brockman, literary agent. Now, he described seeing you there getting a foot massage from a young Russian woman. Did that happen?
No.
You're absolutely sure, or you can't remember?
I'm sorry. I can watch this fucking interview 1,000 times. This man thinking that people bought this shit.
Absolutely sure.
So John Brockman's statement is false?
I don't know Mr. Brockman, so I don't know what he's talking about.
I don't know Mr. Brockman, so I don't know what he's...
Yeah, that's Bush. That's fine about Mr. Brockman.
You're still talking about Jeffrey Epstein?
Investigators say they found no incriminating client list of Epstein's, no credible evidence that Epstein blackmailed prominent individuals, and no evidence that could predicate an investigation against uncharged third parties.
Just enabler. Yeah, you can tell. This guy looks like he's just really, really good guy. Not perverted or at all corrupt. The thing about this that I love is all the names that were there. So I also bring this up because see how, again, they're the elite now. Bezos, Zuckerberg, Musk, Altman, all those fucking psychos, right? And they've been in these circles from the beginning. And now they're welcomed into the Marina Abramović circles, which then tells you where they are in the, what is it, the fucking enlightening or the, where they acknowledge the initiation. Look at that. What I've shown you here today is documented occult circles inside the elite, running 80 years on, psyops, documented transgressive aesthetic circles, you know. And in my opinion, there's a reason the modern room chose art as its costume. Occult robes stopped working the day the camera got small. Parsons' sincerity would be a TMZ headline now, but Art is the perfect modern steal because art comes with a built-in force field. Question it and you're the problem, the Philistine, the prude, the conspiracy theorist. A room full of billionaires at a ritual is a scandal. The same room at a day with Marina Abramović is a culture story. Same seal, same shared strangeness, same exchange underneath. And now the discomfort you feel at it is, by design, evidence against you instead of them. In my opinion, it is the single biggest upgrade the room has made in 100 years. Either way, put a bunch of elites in a room for a theme party, and I fear for the people who are not the guests. All right, folks, take care.